The sky outside Meridian Solutions headquarters was the color of wet concrete, heavy, pale, and silent. I remember pausing before pushing the glass door open, watching my own reflection in its surface. My blazer looked sharp, but my eyes betrayed the sleepless night before. Today was supposed to change everything that I had waited for this meeting for years. 5 years, to be exact. 5 years of lost weekends, skipped birthdays, cold dinners eaten alone under the sterile glow of my office lamp. All of it documented. All of it bound neatly inside a 20-page promotion application that I clutched like it contained the proof of my worth. That Elaine's office was immaculate when I walked in. Not a single sheet of paper out of place, not a coffee ring on her glass desk. It was the kind of order that felt unnatural, as though the room itself rejected human mess. She barely looked up when I sat down. Her hands flipped through the portfolio, page after page, the same way people flip through a free magazine at a doctor's office. Absent, uninterested. 5 years of my life reduced to a background noise. I appreciate your effort, Amelia, she said finally, her voice polished and precise, like the click of her designer glasses as she adjusted them on her nose. But after careful review, I just don't think you're ready for senior management. Maybe in another year or two. Adequate. That was the word she used. My work was adequate. The sound of it clung to me like static, buzzing in my ears. I wanted to shout, adequate? I had saved Loftford, the account that everyone else wrote off as dead. I had rebuilt the department from chaos after my predecessor stormed out and left nothing but broken systems and angry clients. I had the highest client satisfaction ratings in the division. But all I did was nod, smile, and swallow the disappointment whole. I understand, I murmured. Good, Elaine replied briskly, already checking her watch. Now, about the Ellison proposal. They've requested updated metrics. I'll need you to handle that right away. By the time I gathered my things, she was typing an email, my crushed ambition already erased from her mind like chalk wiped from a board that I walked past the corner office that should have been mine. Its glass walls glittered with sunlight, its empty desk waiting for a nameplate that would never carry mine. When I finally reached the parking garage, I sat behind the wheel and stared into the rearview mirror. My reflection didn't look sad, though. It looked calculating. That night, I made 2 decisions. I would cancel my long-planned vacation. I would stop writing the operational guides, the invisible manuals that kept the company standing while others took credit. If they thought I was adequate, then let them live without my invisible scaffolding. Let them see how adequate their empire was when the foundation I built began to crack. But before I tell you what happened next, let me pause. Because maybe you know this feeling too. Being the reliable one, the fixer, the silent engine that runs while others ride the vehicle. Maybe you've smiled through a rejection you didn't deserve. Maybe you've bitten back the words you wanted to scream. That if any of that resonates, subscribe. I tell these stories every week. Not fairy tales, but the truth of life inside corporate walls. Now, back to what happened after Elaine dismissed me. That my name is Amelia Carlton, and until that day, I was invisible, not unimportant, not incompetent. Invisible. When I joined Meridian Solutions 5 years ago, the department was a battlefield. The previous manager had stormed out in fury, taking every password, every process, every shred of documentation. Clients were threatening to leave. Chaos reigned. That I rebuilt it from ashes. That I stayed late until midnight, tracing old spreadsheets. Like crime scenes, piecing together client histories, reconstructing workflows no one remembered. I wrote everything down, created color-coded guides, indexed and cataloged like a librarian. Step by step, I built a system so clean that even a new hire could follow it. But no one did. Because they had me. Elaine called me a natural problem solver in performance reviews. But that praise came with raises so modest they felt like tips, not recognition. Meanwhile, she took credit for my work at every quarterly review. The Ellison contract, the glittering crown jewel of the company, was mine. I nurtured it from the ground up, staying up at 2 a.m. to accommodate their time zone, learning their industry so well I could have run it myself. Elaine attended 3 meetings, just enough to shine when it mattered. The morning after my non-promotion, I arrived at exactly 9 o'clock. Not 7:30, not 8:45, 9:00. Briefing notes for Elaine. No smoothing out everyone else's mess. When Peter from accounting leaned over my desk, his eyes wide, whispering about a supplier. Conflict, I smiled politely. That's procurement, I said, turning back to my screen. I've already forwarded it to Diane. He blinked. But you always handle these things. I'm focusing on my responsibilities. I replied evenly to by 5 p.m. I was out the door. No overtime. No laptop in my bag. That night, I baked cookies with my daughter, Elena. She licked chocolate from the spoon and giggled when the dough stuck to her fingers. Why are you home early, Mom? She asked. Because my time is valuable, I told her. And I want to spend more of it with you. Her smile was worth more than any promotion. By the next morning, the system began to shudder. The Ellison client had urgent requests. Only I knew how to handle them. Elaine panicked. Where are the notes for Ellison's customizations? She demanded at my desk. They're in the shared drive, I said calmly. Under client implementations. I mentioned it last month. She pulled up the 200-page document, flipping through with rising horror. Can you just handle this directly? She begged. I'd love to, I said sweetly. But I have the compliance review this afternoon. Regulators need it by end of day. Would you like me to cancel that? Her silence was louder than shouting. That evening, my phone buzzed until it overheated. 79 missed calls. Panicked voicemails. Ellison furious. Systems breaking. For the first time in years, I slept soundly. The next morning, the office looked like a war zone. People sprinting between cubicles. Elaine pale as chalk, flailing on video calls. Byron Wallace, the regional director, pacing the halls. When I walked in calmly at 9 o'clock sharp, Elaine's assistant grabbed me. Emergency meeting. Now. Inside the conference room, Byron exhaled in relief when he saw me. Amelia. Thank God. We need you. Elaine's voice trembled. What will it take for you to fix this? The promotion. It's yours. I leaned back, folded my arms. That's generous. But a competitor already offered me senior management with a significant raise. Apparently, they think I'm qualified. Silence. Byron leaned forward. Name your price. Whatever they're offering, we'll match it. It's not just about money, I said. It's about recognition, respect, opportunity. I slid my resignation letter across the table. Byron snatched it before Elaine's hand touched it. He scanned it, closed it firmly. This won't be necessary. Amelia, come to my office. That conversation flipped my life. Byron offered me a new role, Director of Operational Systems. Reporting directly to him. Double my salary. Authority to build my own team. But I had two conditions. Hiring authority for 3 positions. Elaine would stay, Byron frowned. After what she did to you. Want? Because this isn't revenge, I said. Replacing her won't fix the system. I want to change the system. For the first time, someone looked at me with real respect. Within months, I built a team. A systems analyst hidden in IT. A process developer miscast as an assistant. A strategist overlooked in operations that we reduced overtime by 40%. Boosted productivity. Streamlined across 4 departments. Ellison expanded. Their contract, asking for me by name. Their CEO called Byron personally to commend our extraordinary turnaround. Even Elaine improved. Freed from responsibilities she never understood. We weren't friends, but we were professionals. And me? I wasn't invisible anymore. One evening, as I left at 5 o'clock sharp, Elena looked up from her homework. How was work, Mom? Productive, I said. She smiled. Like you didn't get, huh? But now you're fixing it for other people. Her words landed harder than any executive praise, because in the end, it wasn't about the title. Or the office with my name. It was about this. Proving my worth so clearly it could never be ignored again. And building a workplace where others like me would never have to feel invisible.